What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So news time today, we have had the huge push of information in regards to like all the campaign stuff that is coming out for Law vs Blackbeard Celebration. So we're going to go through all of it just so you guys know everything that you can, come to expect for this celebration, okay? So let's jump into it. First of all, the first announcement right at the top of the order is a brand new Grand Party season. This is not one of those special seasons like last time where you can basically get like infinite refreshes. This is not that. This is the end of month regular Grand Party, so you do have, to go all the way to 15 wins in order to get everything that you need in terms of the reward systems. So obviously we know how exciting that's going to be. In terms of the special rules though for this season, Int and Psi characters both receiving level 5 CT speed increase and level 10 speed. That's going to be very frustrating to deal with. Int characters are already very strong. Psi characters, we all know how good the mono Psi teams are, and they get level 5 CT speed up. So they're going to be pretty good this season, I feel. Powerhouse and Striker characters also get level 10 attack up. Shooter characters get level 10 defense. Strength type characters speed down level 10. Fighter characters get attack down level 10, so keep that in mind. And then also Int driven characters Grand Party bursts get a 40% reduction to the requirement and an additional burst, and the same thing for Psi and Striker characters. So they basically want you to try and use Law or Blackbeard as your Grand Party leader. That's the whole point of this. I don't think that it's really that worth it, honestly. I don't think either of the two units are good in Grand Party as a leader when you've got characters like Gear 5 Luffy. Despite both Gear 5 Luffys that are actually good in Rumble for Grand Party, they're both fighter units, so they're going to have attack down wherever they're placed, but it's not that big of a deal because the characters are just so good that the positives will still heavily outweigh the negatives of the unit. So that's all we really needed to touch up on for Grand Party, just announcing that it's there starting August 30th. Moving on, we actually have the official announcement of the Sugo Fest, which does go live tomorrow, 1900 PST time for part 1. And of course, there are multiple parts, as it says on the banner right there. Battle of Winter Island 1, 2, and 3. Talking just briefly about the units, 15% chance for a legend to appear, and then it does mention here about the Blackbeard and the new mechanic of HP Guard. So HP Guard is a really interesting mechanic because it allows you to basically negate damage from non-attacks. So like poison effects, map damage, pain debuff, like any type of thing. If you consume a recovery slot and it does damage to you instead, that effect is negated with this HP Guard at 100% potency, which Blackbeard does enable in his captain effect. The cool thing about HP Guard as well is that it does negate the HP reduction from Rush Sugo specials. So that's going to be a really cool way to abuse that mechanic as well, to get like the full taps of your Rush Sugo special. So that's pretty neat. Let's scroll down a little bit more because it does mention about like the characters that you can expect for each of the parts as well. Talks about the new characters, of course. Part 1 is going to be on the 23rd, which is tomorrow, which does feature Law, Blackbeard, and Kuzan. Part 2 of the Sugo Fest features just Law and Blackbeard, and then Part 3 is just Kuzan. So Part 3 is probably not going to be very good for most people out there. Let's continue though. We have the actual step-ups, which, I mean, the step-ups are basically the exact same with the Law, with the Luffy versus Kaido celebration. So if you guys took part in that Sugo Fest, you guys like know what to expect heading into this part of the Sugo Fest as well. So nothing really too noteworthy to really talk about here. But this is where things get a little weird. So this is the boosted list for part 1 of the Sugo, which starts tomorrow. So on part 1, these are the rate boosted Super Sugos. You've got Law versus Blackbeard, which is the character that you'd want to pull for, as well as the Film Red Snake Man Luffy. Now, for those of you who are unaware, this Film Red Snake Man Luffy is probably one of the worst Super Sugos that have ever come out. There's just not much use for him at all, and they just inevitably release more and more Luffy characters, which completely devalues this unit altogether. So this Luffy being rate boosted is such a slap in the face. Like, they might as well not even rate boosted, honestly. Like, this is such a terrible decision. In terms of the normal legends that are also considered rate boosted, you've got a pretty good array of units here. You've got the Kuzan, obviously. Dofi and Sugar is relatively new. Psi Boa Hancock is still pretty good. Hiyori is still also pretty good. Int Jack is an amazing character to have. Rayleigh and Gaban is really good. Usopp and Yasop is nice to have. Hiyori is fantastic, especially with the Enma Zora character. You probably need her to make Enma Zora work effectively. Sober Mask, he doesn't have a 6+ yet, and I do have high hopes for him in the future. Stampede Luffy with 6+ and level limit break is phenomenal. But a lot of them are kind of mid, let's be real here. Now, Part 1 does actually feature, like, all of the other Super Sugos, but their rates are considerably lower, so do keep that in mind. They are available, just really, really low rate, and of course, it doesn't feature the Part 1 characters with Luffy vs. Kaido. They're not on this banner, but all of these other Super Sugos will be featured as well. And then the limited pool Super Sugo gets you that, which I believe is like the 30th multi or whatever it is, which is pretty harsh. So personally speaking, I'm actually not going to be doing any pulls on Part 1. I think honestly, just seeing the boosted list here, I'm probably going to conserve my gems for Part 2, do a handful of multis there and kind of just see what happens, you know. Moving on though to Part 2, this one, have a look at this one, just it's night and day difference. For Part 2, the featured Super Sugos, you've got Law vs. Blackbeard, 10th Anniversary Shanks, Psy Gear 5 Luffy, and Rush Saji. So these Super Sugos, all of them are amazing. You want to have all of them. Law vs. Blackbeard is very controversial. Some people like him, some people don't like him. It is what it is. Now, in terms of the normal legends that are available, I mean, you've got obviously a decent amount of characters here, but like not a lot of them are great. Kid Killer's pretty good. Bonnie's nice to have. Momo's, the quick Momo is really nice. Koala and Robin is great. Queen is actually pretty good to have as well. Corazon and Law is nice. Filmroad Chopper is pretty good. Sometimes nice to have the strength ulti, but let's be real, kind of mid. Tandem Kid is a little outdated. I mean, you've got so many like mid characters here. Like it's just it's pretty disheartening, honestly, seeing so many bad characters here on Part 2. But the Super Sugos are where it's at, you know. The limited pool, and then you got the super limited pool Sugo rare character. You got some good characters there overall. Now, Part 3, remember, Kuzan is on the banner, but he is not a Super Sugo. So the other Super Sugos on the banner, you've got the Int Gear 5 Luffy, the Dual Yamato, and then you've got the 2 double conditional units in Robin and Big Mom. So Part 3 is like not terrible for Super Sugos because all 4 of these units do see play in high damage content. So it's good to see that. In terms of the other generic legends that are here, you've got a pretty good array of units here, like Lilith, Jesus Burgess, Law and Beppo female unit, Kuzan, the new Kuzan, obviously everyone wants to get, Momonosuke, Alba's really nice, Ben Beckman, Lucky Ruse, the absolute homie, quick Super Type Kaido, still with 6+ and level limit break is really, really nice. So it is what it is, right? So, and then the, like, obviously you got the limited pool here, which it is what it is, but, like, I don't think Kuzan is really worth pulling, but he is obviously going to be nice for the upcoming content. And then you have All Parts, which has all these rate boosted rare recruits, so do keep that in mind as well. So let's continue on. Below that is the announcement of the Pirate King Adventures, which starts on the 25th, which is when Part 3 of the Sugo starts, is when PKA will go live. So we did already talk about the new Beppo. He is going to be the free-to-play unit. He will super evolve when the treasure map comes out in next month, and he will super evolve into the Sulong Bepo, which I'm excited to see exactly what that's going to be all about. So not really too much to talk about here. I mean, you do have the list of boosted units here. One thing to note though is that it adds 3 additional drops, and you can have all of these units combined, obviously, and then the rare recruits. They want you to run the batch and the rare recruits, obviously. Like it's nothing too crazy to really be expecting at this point. But I just wish the boosted list was just kind of better, because the boosted list is pretty mediocre overall. So anyways, new PKA, nothing really too crazy there. Moving on, this was a bit of a surprise. I was not anticipating this. So again, someone at Bandai hates GARP and hates Kuzan because everyone has been wanting this Kuzan versus GARP character, or like a celebration featuring a GARP, a brand new GARP and a new Kuzan and stuff. And then they kind of diluted it all because they gave us this Kuzan, which was not the one versus GARP, and now they're kind of making it versus GARP, and it's just such a weird scenario here. We're not getting a new GARP, but we're getting a Blitz battle for GARP and Kuzan. This is going live August 30th, which is the same day as the Grand Party, so there's just like a ton of events being stacked on us right here. So GARP versus Kuzan Blitz battle, it does go for about 50 hours, I think it is, and then if you use a friend captain, you get the additional points. They're just trying to tell you how to play the Blitz battle. Essentially, there's going to be a new event on Extra Island. You play it a bunch over and over again with the boosted units, you get points, and then you get rewards for doing all of this. And the rewards are actually usually pretty good, so like it's worth playing, and especially you do get rewards for just competing, like just for clearing it a certain amount of times. You get like a bunch of rewards for doing so. So, I don't know if it actually mentions it here in terms of Chopman missions. Yeah, if you clear it with your alliance, up to 100 clears between all your alliance members, you get like 10 legend tickets, which is pretty sick. And then there's other stuff, including the Super Tandem tablet. Everyone gets a Super Tandem tablet if you complete all the Chopman missions, limited pool legend ticket, rainbow gems. So you want to be competing in this for sure. The crazy thing though, have a look at these points here. Crazy high points. So you have the new units, you get more points, you rank up higher. Surprise, surprise. But even if you don't have a team that is like solely focused on having max points, you just compete, get all your clears done, get all the rewards from Chopper Man missions. You're still going to actually net yourself a pretty good amount of rewards. And you don't even have to have a really high amount of score, because if your alliance members are doing really well too, that will net you more rewards as well. So we'll see how it all goes out, and how it actually, you know, works and stuff. But Kuzan versus GARP BLITZ battle, completely out of left field, but you know, that's exactly what's happening, which is, again, it feels like a slap in the face to the community, because everyone has been wanting this Kuzan versus GARP thing, and we just got it as a relegated Blitz battle, so it is what it is. Let's move on. A new announcement of co-op quests. So this is happening on September 3rd. So this is happening on the day of the Blitz battle concluding. So there's just, again, so much stuff happening right here. So this co-op quest, you know, they actually don't mention in terms of like what characters or what types of units actually receive cooldown. You know how sometimes it's like certain colors and then certain classes get cooldown. They didn't actually announce which characters do that, but these are the characters that give you additional drops. Now, do keep in mind that in co-op quests, you don't actually have to build a team with the new units to get the additional drops. It's just if you own them on your account, you get additional drops at the end of the quest. So if you own all 4 of these new units, you get additional 8 drops at the end of every single run. That is crazy in this next co-op quest. So if you do end up pulling all of these new units together, it may be a pretty good time to go out and just farm as much as you can, because you will net a bunch of additional drops. You do also have these other units that can give you a chance of additional drops, so you can net yourself a lot of drops just because you own these units, right? It's pretty crazy. So I did want to put it out there, just because, you know, if you have all these units, you want to be grinding as much as you possibly can on co-op quests, because the drops are going to be absolutely bonkers, dude. So that is the new co-op quest. We also have a new login bonus coming in for the Law versus Blackbeard celebration, and I mean, we're just getting this thing here where we get a ticket every single day with a 10% chance of it being a red, guaranteed red on day 10. Absolutely hate these login bonuses. They should, I really prefer the old ones where it was just a gem every day, because getting a rainbow gem every single day is way more valuable than getting a ticket for a random character, unless if they restricted the pool heavily on what characters you could actually pull. Then that would be more valuable, but because it's just literally generic everything, these kind of tickets are pretty bad. We also have a new batch of level limit breaks being added into the game, with free-to-play units of Treasure Map Queen, Treasure Map Kaido, Treasure Map Hyogoro. That's all really well and good. 5+ of Kizuna Brook is nice to see as well. But then, more importantly, the Pipe Rumble characters. Usopp doesn't really see that much play, but Pell getting an increase of his abilities is fantastic. Remember, in order to get level limit break characters implemented, you have to feed duplicates into them, up to 9 dupes to get them completely maxed out. So if you don't have them, then you need to get duplicates, either for the free-to-play units, you can just buy them from their shops, but for the summonable characters like the Rumble Rare recruits here, you probably want to use your level limit break wanted posters in order to get them maxed out. I think Pell definitely will be worthwhile. Usopp, on the other hand, probably not. Also, new batch of medal exchange information is going to be live for the month of September, and also the final week of August as well. So in terms of the characters that are available, 600 medals, you've got the Conjurer and the Whitebeard. These characters are not worth 600 medals. The 400 medal tier, none of these are really worth 400 medals either, to be honest. In terms of these units though, the Big Mom character doesn't have a 6+ yet, Smoker doesn't have a 6+ yet, Kaido doesn't have a 6+ yet. So those 3 units that don't have 6+ and level limit breaks, they could become really, really good in the future, but again, like, we just don't know when that's ever going to happen, so it's hard to say. TM characters are going to be available as well. Treasure Map characters of Count Niwatore, Mistems, and Aladdin. I believe these are really old units, so I don't think they're that good. Reduces burn and chain reduction by 3, changes block and empty slots into matching. Like, it's pretty mid, you probably don't need them. We've got the Mistems, who will go ahead and reduces attack down by 5, locks slots by 1 turn, and then gives a color affinity boost based on your navigation level. So this color affinity boost only works when you're in a treasure map. So basically, all he does is 5 turn attack down, lock slots for 1 turn. Could actually be useful. Being a fighter free spirit, he might not actually be terrible. That's not an awful special. And then Aladdin, which will go ahead and reduce threshold by 5, set enemies defense to 0 for 1 turn, and then that's basically all he does, because the other effect is based on TM. So defense reduction and threshold is also pretty bad, so these units probably not worth picking up. And then we got some special characters lined up as well. All of these special units are just collector items. They're not good units at all, so you don't really need to worry about them that much at all. But if you want to get them, you can get them. You've got a Marco, you've got an Ace, you have this Kobe, you've got this Perona character, which it looks like I don't own, and then also we have the Wedding Boa Hancock as well. So yeah, you can skip those. The rest of these characters are all the same, so it is what it is. And also to note that moving forward after August 25th, any legend ticket that you receive will actually have the addition of the Memory Straw Hat, Nami and Robin on the banner as well. So that's cool to see. And that's basically it. That's all the information that we have coming up. So we've got a grand party happening. New Sugo starts tomorrow. PKA a couple days after that. We've got the Blitz battle right at the end of August. We've got the new co-op quest happening in the first couple of days of September. And login bonus and new level limit breaks and stuff. So yeah, a lot is happening. Part 1 starts tomorrow for the big Sugo Fest. As I said, I'm not going to be pulling tomorrow. I'm going to be waiting until part 2 to do my multis, because part 1 just looks absolutely terrible. So we'll see what happens, right? Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.